Early morning finds Park Jin-yona is already up. His day begins before sunrise. He lives in a large, quiet house on the outskirts of town. The house is like a fortress. A high fence, cameras, people at the gate. These people in dark clothes see Jin-yona, and they immediately straighten up. They nod silently. He passes by without looking at them. The inside of the house is clean, quiet, and empty. Nothing superfluous. No pictures. No knickknacks, just the essentials. Jin-yong drinks black coffee by the huge window. Outside is his city, or rather, the part of the city where his word is law. He's a problem solver. People come to him when they need something sorted out, something obtained, or something gotten rid of. He has a lot of money, a lot of power, and a lot of people who listen to him, but he has no friends. There are only subordinates and those who fear him. Almost everyone is afraid of him. He finishes his coffee and whistles. A dog emerges from another room. It's a pit bull named Gory, a large, powerful dog with intelligent eyes. Gory is part of Jin's image. Yona, the dog everyone fears. She follows him like a shadow. She's silent and obedient, and she never, ever approaches strangers. Jin-yong puts a simple black collar and leash on Gory. Jin-yon, let's go. It's not a request, it's an order. Gory walks alongside. They leave the house and get into a large, dark car. The driver silently drives them to the Central Park. It's the only place where Jin-yong allows himself to be just a person on a walk. Well, almost just. They arrive at the park early, when it's almost deserted. Security guards remain at the entrance. Jin-yong walks down the alley alone. Except for Gory. Their walk is like a ritual. The same route, the same pace. Jin-yong walks straight ahead, looking ahead. Gory walks at his left foot, neither lagging behind nor running ahead. The dog pays no attention to pigeons, cats, or smells. She looks where her master does. She is his reflection. This morning is like every other. Quiet, cool, empty benches. Jin-yong breathes evenly. These half an hour are his time. Time when he doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. Jin-yong, calm down. He says this quietly, more to himself. Gory only turns her head slightly towards him. They walk on. Jin-yong notices a boy on a distant bench. The boy is alone. Jin-yong frowns. He doesn't like witnesses, even small ones, but he decides to ignore them. The boy is busy with his own business. He won't look in their direction. That's as it should be. They pass by the bench. Jin-yong feels the leash tighten in his hand. He turns around. Gory has stopped. The dog stands, turning away from its owner. It looks at the boy. Its ears are pricked up. Jin-yong, burn, forward. Gory doesn't move. She suddenly wags her tail dully. Once, twice. It's strange. She never does that on walks. Jin-yong, burn. Come to me! Voice of Jin-yona's tone hardens. It's the tone everyone listens to, people and dogs alike. But for the first time, Gory doesn't listen. She takes a slow, hesitant step toward the bench, then another. Elvis is sitting on a bench. He sees a huge dog and freezes. He's holding a notepad and pencil. He's afraid to move. Gory comes very close. She looks at Elvis. Then she lowers her nose and carefully sniffs his worn sneakers. Elvis, you won't bite? The boy whispers. Gory wags her tail again in response. She lifts her head and nuzzles his clenched fist with her wet nose. Jin-yong watches this scene, his face frozen in surprise. He doesn't understand. Gory never let strangers near her. She growled if anyone got too close. And now she's approached a strange child and is acting friendly? Elvis slowly unclenches his fingers. He's afraid, but his curiosity is stronger. He touches the dog's broad head with his hand. Gory doesn't flinch. On the contrary, she closes her eyes and tilts her head, offering herself to his palm. Elvis, wow. A smile appears on the boy's face. He begins to pet the dog behind the ear. Gory makes a contented sound, almost like a groan. Jin-yong comes closer. He sees his fearsome dog, his protector, his symbol of power, transform into an ordinary large dog craving affection. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to say. Jin-yong, burn. Enough. Let's go. Gory looks at him. She wags her tail, but doesn't move away from the boy. It's as if she's glued to the spot. Elvis looks at Jin-yona. He sees a stern man in expensive clothes. The boy removes his hand. Elvis, excuse me, is this your dog? She's a very nice dog. Jin-yong is silent for a second. He's not used to being spoken to without reason, especially not by children. Jin-yon, yes, mine. She's not usually like this. Elvis smiles again and strokes Gory's neck. Elvis, what's the name? Jin-yon, burn. Elvis, hello, Gory. My name is Elvis. The dog licks his hand in response. Jin-yong sees this and realizes something has gone wrong. Something very wrong. And he has absolutely no idea how to fix it. Elvis sits motionless, his hand hovering above the dog's head. Gory looks up at him, his dark eyes glittering. He nuzzles the boy's hand again. insistently but gently. Elvis? Okay, okay. He slowly lowers his palm and touches the fur between Gory's ears. The fur is short, coarse, and warm. Elvis runs his fingers from his forehead to the back of his neck. Gory closes his eyes. He freezes, enjoying it. Then the dog does what Jin Yong had never seen anything like it. He lets out a long, contented sigh, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from him. His tail beats the air slowly and joyfully. Elvis grows bolder. He strokes the dog's neck and powerful shoulders. Gory snuggles even closer to his legs, like a big kitten. Then he licks the boy's fingers. His tongue is rough and wet. Elvis chuckles. Elvis, it tickles. He doesn't pull his hand away. He likes it. He looks at the dog, and his face lights up. Just a minute ago, he was afraid, and now he's petting the biggest, most serious dog he's ever seen. Elvis, you just wanted to be petted, didn't you? Gory licks his hand again in response, as if saying yes. Jin Yong stands 2 steps away and watches. His arms are at his sides. The leash dangles loosely. He can't believe what he sees. This isn't his dog. His dog is a machine. She listens to commands. She protects. She scares. She doesn't beg for affection from strange children in the park. His Gory wouldn't lick someone's dirty fingers. His Gory wouldn't close his eyes in pleasure. His Gory wouldn't wag his tail so stupidly and openly. Jin Yon feels a strange feeling in his chest. It's not anger. It's something else. It's confusion. As if the world has suddenly turned upside down. He puts 2 fingers to his mouth and whistles. Sharp, loud. It's a signal Gory always obeys instantly. Gory turns his head towards the sound. He looks at Jin. Yona! He recognizes his master, but he doesn't move. He simply stares, then turns back to Elvis and nuzzles his arm, asking him to continue. Jin Yong lowers his hand. He looks at the empty leash. This is the first time his command has meant nothing. He doesn't know what to do next. He's used to being in control of everything, and now he can't even control his own dog. Elvis looks up from Gory and at the man. He sees his still face and tense posture. The boy thinks the man is angry. Elvis. Sorry, mister, she came up to me. Jin Yong. I see. Elvis. She's very kind. And beautiful. Jin Yong frowned. His brows drew together. He looked at the dog, who had rolled over onto his back, exposing his belly, his most vulnerable spot, to Elvis. The dog had never done that. Not even to him. Jin Yon. No, she's not kind. She's a serious dog. Elvis. But she licks my hands and lets me pet her. Jin Yong. She doesn't act like that with me. Elvis. Maybe she's just in a good mood today. Jin Yon looks at the boy. Elvis says it so simply, as if it were the most ordinary thing in the world. The dog is in a good mood. Woo Jin Yona was never in a good mood. He had things to do, plans, responsibilities. Jin Yon. She shouldn't act like that with strangers. Elvis. But we're not strangers anymore. We've met. I'm Elvis. And she's Gory. Jin Yong can't find a response to this childish logic. The facts are truly against him. His angry, serious dog is now lying on its back, and a little boy is scratching its belly, and the dog is clearly happy. Jin Yong looks at his watch. Time is running out. He'll be late. He can't stand here all day. He takes a step forward. Gory immediately stops rolling around. She rolls onto her side and stands on all 4s. She doesn't growl, but she steps between Jin, Yon, and Elvis. Jin Yong. Burn. It's time. Let's go home. He says this in a casual tone, a tone that brooks no argument. He bends down to take the leash. Gory makes a low sound, not a bark, a muffled warning somewhere deep in her chest. She doesn't show her teeth. She simply stands there, blocking the boy's path. Jin Yong freezes. He knows that sound well. It's the sound that has meant stop to many people along his path, but now it's directed at him. Jin Yon, burn. It's me. The dog looks at him. There's no malice in her eyes, but there's determination. She won't budge. She won't let him take her from the boy, or let him take the boy from her. Jin Yong can't understand. Elvis looks from the dog to the man. He understands that something important is happening. Elvis. She doesn't want to leave? Jin Yon. It seems so. Elvis. Maybe she wants to hang out some more? Jin Yon. She wants to stay with you. Jin Yong says this out loud, and it sounds even more ridiculous. He glances at his watch again. He has an important meeting in an hour. Without Gory, it will be more difficult. People expect to see him with a dog. It's part of the image. But Gory had clearly made up her mind. She walked over to the bench and lay down right on Elvis's legs, resting her head on his sneakers. She closed her eyes, demonstrating complete calm. It was done. She was staying. Jin Yong stands over them. He looks at this boy, whom he sees for the first time in his life. He looks at his dog, who betrayed him because of this boy. He has two options: take Gory by force, which will be difficult and noisy, or Jin Young sighs heavily. He's never sighed from helplessness before. Jin Young, boy. Elvis, Elvis. Jin Young, Elvis. I have things to do, but my dog seems to have chosen you. Do you have a phone at home? Your parents? Elvis. Mom is in the hospital. There's no one home. Jin Young looks at his watch again, then at the stubborn dog, then at the lonely boy. His day, which had begun so normally, is now going downhill, and it seems he can't do anything about it. Jin Young looks at the boy, then at the dog, then at his watch. He feels the familiar order of things crumbling. He can't leave Gory in the park, and he can't drag away this carcass, which now feels glued to the child's legs. Jin Young. Elvis, listen to me. I need to go. On business, but Gory doesn't want to go without you. Elvis looks at him with wide eyes. Elvis, where to go? Jin Young, not far. To a certain place. I'll need Gory there. She needs to be with me. Elvis, why doesn't she want to go with you alone? Jin, Yan, good question. I'd like to know that myself. He says this dryly. Elvis leans over and hugs Gory around the neck. The dog nuzzles his cheek. Elvis, I need to go to school soon too. Jin Young, it won't take long. I'll take you to school later. Or home. Jin Young pauses. He's not used to persuading. He's used to ordering. Jin Young, if you don't go, Gory won't go. And I need that. Elvis, will she be sad if you leave alone? Jin Young, it seems so. It will be sad. Elvis thinks. He looks at Gory's eyes, which seem sad to him. He strokes her head. Elvis, okay, I'll go, but not for long. Otherwise, Mom will worry if I'm late. Jin Young feels a strange sense of relief. He nods. Jin Young, okay, not for long. Let's go. He takes a step back, giving them space. Gory immediately stands up, but she doesn't go to Jin. Yeonwoo? She waits for Elvis to get up. The boy picks up his backpack and notebook. Only then does Gory begin to move, not walking next to Jin. Yeonom, Oi, knees, and between him and the boy, like a living bridge. They are heading towards the park exit. Security guards Jin Yona sees this strange procession. The boss, the unfamiliar boy, and Gory, who doesn't leave the child's side for a second. Their faces express utter bewilderment, but they remain silent. They open the door of a large black car. Jin Young sits down first. He gestures to the seat next to Elvis. Jin, Yon, Elvis said. Get in. The car was spacious and very quiet. It smelled of leather and something clean. Gory jumped in after him and immediately settled on the floor at the boy's feet. But after a second, she lifted her head and placed it on Elvis's lap, as if it were her rightful place. Elvis, wow! This car looks just like in the movies. Jin Young doesn't answer. He looks at Gory. The dog lies with her eyes closed, her breathing even. She's relaxed. In the car, she always sat sternly in her seat, watching the road. Never slept. Never laid her head on anyone's lap. The driver, a man in a dark shirt, turns around. He looks at the boy, then at the dog in his lap. His eyes widen for a second. He looks at Jin, Yona in the mirror. Jin Young, let's go to the office. Quickly. Driver, yes sir, boss. The car starts moving smoothly. Elvis looks out the window. Then he gently strokes Gory's head. Elvis, where are we going? Jin Young, to my office. I need to talk to people. Elvis, are you the boss? Jin, Young, you could say that. Elvis, does Gory go to the office with you? Jin, Yan, yes, he usually goes. Elvis looks at the dog, who is now snoring on his lap. Elvis, she must be tired. Jin Yon, she's not tired. She's just acting weird. Elvis, I like how calm she is. Jin Young watches the scene. The large, menacing dog, which made strong men nervous, sleeps like a baby on a little boy's lap. The boy strokes it with one hand, clutching his battered backpack with the other. Jin Young feels annoyed. This is wrong. This is against the rules. But beneath the annoyance, he senses something else. Curiosity. How is this possible? Why did his dog, his loyal and stern companion, choose this child? Elvis interrupts his thoughts. Elvis, what happens when we get there? Can I stay in the car with Gory? Jin Young, no, you're coming with me. Elvis, why? Jin, Yan, because if you stay here, Gory will stay with you. And I need her inside. Elvis nods as if it's the most logical thing in the world. He looks out the window again. Elvis, okay, I've never been in a real office. Only school and the hospital. Jin Young looks at him. He wants to ask about the hospital, about his mother, but the words won't come. He just watches the boy pet his dog, and the car takes them all to where Jin is. Young is the boss. And today, everything will be completely different from usual. The car doesn't stop at a glass skyscraper, as Elvis expected. They pull into the dimly lit garage of some old warehouse. The air smells of concrete, dust, and machine oil. A couple of dim lamps glow in the corner. Elvis presses himself against the glass, looking at the shadows. Jin Yong turns to him. His face has become stony and expressionless again. Jin Yong, you're staying here with Gory. Don't get out of the car. And don't roll down the window. Got it? Elvis, where are you going? Jin Yong, I need to talk. It won't be long. Elvis, and Gory? Jin Yong, Gory will stay with you. She will watch. Jin Yong opens the door and steps out. Gory immediately lifts her head from Elvis's lap. She watches her master leave, but makes no attempt to follow him. Instead, she rolls onto her side, blocking the door where the boy is sitting, and rests her head on his legs again, as if to say, my place is here. Jin Yong takes a few steps and turns around. He sees two silhouettes behind the tinted glass, a small one and a large one. He nods to the driver, who gets out and takes a position by the hood, arms crossed over his chest. A couple of minutes later, another car pulls into the garage. Three men get out. One of them, in a rumpled leather coat, walks ahead. He looks tense. Yong meets him in the center of the illuminated space under the lamp. Elvis pressed himself against the glass. He saw his new acquaintance, Mr. Jin, standing very straight. The other man was saying something, waving his arms. He looked angry or scared. The boy couldn't tell. Jin Yong barely moves. He just listens. Then he says something short, just a few words. The man in the coat freezes. He lowers his head. His shoulders slump. He says something else, but now his voice is barely audible, like a vibration. He seems smaller than he did a moment ago. Elvis doesn't understand words, but he understands body language. He saw the big boy at school slouch the same way after a conversation with the principal. He saw his neighbor's shoulders slump the same way when she was told her cat wasn't coming back. Elvis, is something wrong with him, Gory? He whispers to the dog. Gory merely cocks an ear toward the noise, but doesn't take her eyes off the boy. Her job is here. Jin Yong says something to his men, who are standing a little distance away. They nod. The man in the coat slowly trudges back to his car, dejected. The meeting is over. It took no more than 5 minutes. Jin Yong returns to the car. His face is calm. He opens the door and gets into his seat. He smells of the cold air of the garage. Jin Yong, that's it. Let's move on. They drive for a few minutes in silence. Elvis looks out the window at the passing streets. Then he turns around. Elvis, Mr. Jin? Jin Yong, yes. Elvis, you and that guy. Did you fight? Jin Yong blinks. He looks at the boy. Jin Yong, no, we weren't arguing. We were talking. Elvis, but he was yelling at first. Then he stopped. Is he a bad person? The question hangs in the silence of the salon. Jin Yong waves his hand away, making a slight motion as if brushing a crumb off the table. Jin Yong, it doesn't matter. Things to do. Adult things to do. Elvis, why do adult things always look like everyone's sad? Jin Yong, do you think he was sad? Elvis, yes, he left like he'd been given the worst day of his life. Did you hurt him? Jin Yong stares straight ahead. He's used to other questions. Questions about money, about shares, about respect. This childish, direct question hits him where he's most vulnerable. Did you do something bad to him? He did. Of course he did. He restored order. He punished his mistake. It was necessary. But how do you explain this to a child? Say that the man was bad, but then the next question will be, are you good? Jin Yong, sometime, for some people to live peacefully, others have to endure unpleasant moments. Elvis frowns, digesting these words. Elvis, is it like football? For one team to win, the other has to lose, and they'll be sad? Jin Yong thinks for a second. Jin Yong, yeah. Something like that, just without the ball. Elvis, I see, but it's still sad. Elvis falls silent and looks out the window again. Jin Yong watches his reflection in the glass. The boy's question won't leave his mind. Is he a bad person? Jin Yong had always divided the world into the useful and the useless, the loyal and the unfaithful, the strong and the weak. He hadn't divided into good and bad, the way a child does, for a long time. And now this simple question forces him to look at what just happened from a different perspective. He doesn't feel guilty, but he feels a weight, the same weight he's always carried without noticing. And now this boy, simply by asking the question, seemed to point a finger at it. The car is driving through the city. Jin Yong is about to take the boy home, but Gory seems to have other plans. As they pass the park entrance, the dog suddenly rises from the floor. She braces her paws on the armrest between the seats and begins whining, looking out the window. Elvis, Gory wants to go to the park? Jin Yong, no, it's time for you to go home. Gory makes an even more pitiful sound and nuzzles Jin's shoulder. Yeonwoo then turns and nudges Elvis. Elvis, she's asking, can we stay for a little while? I promise. Then we'll go straight home. Jin Yong looks at the pleading eyes of the dog and the boy. He sighs. This sigh is becoming more and more familiar. Jin Yong, okay, 10 minutes. He nods to the driver. The car turns around and enters the park. They emerge onto the same alley. Gory immediately pulls on the leash and leads Elvis to their bench. Jin Yong follows, feeling led. They set. The sun is already higher, and the first people have appeared in the park. There's a small ice cream cart parked next to the alley. Elvis looks at it but says nothing. He simply pats Gory on the back. Jin Yong notices his gaze. He stands up. Jin Yong, what? Elvis looks at him, confused. Elvis, what? Jin Yong, ice cream. Which one do you want? Elvis, oh, can I have some? Jin Yon, yes, choose quickly. Elvis runs up to the cart and points to a plain chocolate-covered popsicle. Yong pays without looking at the change. He comes back and hands the ice cream to the boy. Then he sits down on the bench next to him. Elvis, thank you very much. He carefully unwraps the ice cream and takes a bite. His face lights up with pleasure. Elvis, would you like some? Jin Yong, no. He hadn't eaten ice cream since childhood. It seemed like a stupid, unnecessary weakness. But now, watching the boy rejoice over a simple thing, he felt something akin to peace. They sit in silence for a few minutes. Elvis finishes his ice cream, and Gory carefully licks a chocolate chip that has fallen onto the pavement. Jin Yong looks at the boy. The question that had been swirling around in his head since morning finally comes to light. Jin Yong, Elvis, your mother, where is she? Why are you alone? Elvis stops petting Gory. His face turns serious. He looks at his sneakers. Elvis, she's in the hospital. Jin Yon, what's wrong with her? Elvis, she's really tired. The doctor said her heart was hurting. From exhaustion and worries, she was working 2 jobs. And then one morning, she couldn't get up. An ambulance took her away. This is the 3rd day already. He says this monotonously, as if he had memorized the explanation. Jin Yon, who's with you? Relatives? Elvis, no, just the 2 of us. My neighbor Aunt Marta gives me something to eat, but she's old, and I don't want to disturb her. So I'm taking a walk while Mom's in the hospital. Jin Yong, did you tell Mom you were walking alone? Elvis quickly looks up at him, a flicker of alarm in his eyes. Elvis, no. I said I was going to see a friend after school. I didn't want to upset her. She's already worried. If she knew I was alone, she'd feel worse. She'd run straight from the hospital to look for me. He says it with such confidence that Jin Yon has no doubt. The boy is right. His mother would have done exactly that. Jin Yong feels a cold stone in his chest. He looks at this little boy, who at 7 years old takes on adult responsibility to protect his mother. He wanders alone through seedy neighborhoods, draws on benches, all just so his mother won't worry. Jin Yong, aren't you afraid to be alone? Elvis shrugs, but his lower lip trembles slightly. Elvis, a little, but now I have Gory. It's not scary with her. He hugs the dog around the neck, and she licks his ear. The silence drags on. Jin Yong looks at the well-trodden path in the park, at the pigeons, at the empty ice cream cart. In his head, accustomed to complex schemes and multi-step plans, a simple but clear thought now works. This can't happen. It can't be that the child is alone. It can't be that his mother is in the hospital without proper care. Care if he can fix it. He doesn't feel like a hero. He feels the need to fix the broken thing that just happened to be in his way. He stands up, his movements becoming decisive again. Jin Yong, let's go. I'll take you home. Elvis, already? Jin Yong, yes, I need to make a call. They walk to the car. Gory doesn't act up this time. She walks next to Elvis, as if she feels she has everything under control now. Jin Yong asks for the address. Elvis names a street in an old, poor neighborhood. The driver, his expression unchanged, heads there. They stop at a modest 3-story house. Jin Yong leaves with Elvis and Gory. He goes up to the 2nd floor. Elvis opens the door to a small but tidy apartment. The air smells of cookies and loneliness. Jin Yong, will you be here alone? Elvis, yes, Aunt Martha will be visiting this evening. Jin Yong, good. He steps out onto the landing, leaving the door ajar. He takes out his phone. His contacts list includes a number marked Dr. Kim. This isn't just any doctor. He's the best cardiologist in town, who sometimes consults Jin's people. Yona. He presses call. There are 2 beeps. Then the phone is picked up. Voice on the phone. Hello, Jin. Yong speaks clearly and quietly, without preamble. Jin Yon, this is Jin Yong. I need your help, not for my people, for one woman. Her name is Shanita. She's been in the city hospital for 3 days, with heart problems. Find out what department she's in, who the doctor is. Give her all the attention she needs, the best treatments, the best medications. Send all the bills to me. I want her to recover quickly and completely. Understood? There's a moment of silence on the line. Dr. Kim is used to other requests, to hide a wound, to provide a certificate. Not this. Dr. Kim, understood. Shanita, City Hospital. I'll find out everything and take control. Ian, Young, okay, I'm expecting a call from you with information. He hangs up. He's not asking. He's not offering money. He's simply giving instructions, and he knows they'll listen. He returns to the apartment. Elvis is sitting on the couch, hugging Gory. He looks at Jin Yona with big questioning eyes. Jin Yong, everything will be fine. Your mom will be taken care of. Elvis, really? Jin Yon, it's true. I promise. For the first time in his life, he makes a promise that isn't business-related, and he intends to keep it. 2 days later, Jin Yong picks up Elvis. The boy is already waiting for him at the entrance, dressed in his best, but still simple clothes. Gory, seeing him, wagged her tail so hard, it seemed like it was about to fall off. Jin Yong, get in. We're going to the hospital. Elvis, to Mom? Really? Jin Yun, yes. Dr. Kim said she's feeling better. We can visit. Elvis's face lit up with such joy that Jin Yong looked away for a second. He wasn't used to such bright, pure emotions. They rode in silence, but this time the silence wasn't tense, but expectant. At the hospital, Dr. Kim himself was already waiting for them, a trim man in a white coat. He cast a quick, almost imperceptible, appraising glance at Elvis and Gory, but turned to Jin. Yonu, Dr. Kim. She's in room 314. Her condition is stable. We've changed her therapy and performed additional tests. She needs rest and good care. Jin Yong. Okay, thank you, Doctor. Kim nods and steps back, letting them pass. They walk down a long white corridor. Elvis holds Gory's leash tightly, but the dog walks calmly, as if he understands where and why they're going. Jin Yong stops in front of door 314. He suddenly feels a strange nervousness that he hasn't experienced even before the most difficult meetings. He knocks and opens the door. The room is small but bright. A woman sits on the bed by the window. Shanita. She looks tired, with dark circles under her eyes, but her posture is upright, and her eyes are clear and attentive. She looks at the door, and her gaze first finds Elvis. Her face softens with love and relief. Shanita. Elvie, my baby! Elvis drops the leash and runs to her, hugging her carefully. Elvis, Mom, are you feeling better yet? Shanita. Yes, honey, much better. Then her gaze rises and stops on Jin Yon. He stands in the doorway, silent and awkward. Gory sits at his feet, watching intently. Shanita studies the man. She notices his expensive but modest clothes, his rigid posture, his expressionless face, but she also sees how his eyes briefly rest on her son, and something other than cold assessment flickers in them. Shanita, are you the person the doctors told me about? Jin Yon takes a step forward and tilts his head slightly. Jin Yon, ya Jin Yong. Yes, I asked Dr. Kim to help. Elvis, Mom, this is Mr. Jin. And this is Gory. She's my best dog friend. Shanita looks at the huge pit bull, carefully approached the bed and sat down, keeping his eyes on her. The dog doesn't look threatening. He looks attentive. Shanita, I don't know what to say. Thank you. The doctors, they suddenly became so attentive, prescribed different medications. I didn't understand what was happening until the head doctor said an important sponsor had asked to take care of me. It was you, Jin Yong. It's okay. Your son. He's a good boy. Shanita, he told me he was walking your dog, that she became attached to him. Jin Yong. Yes, it was unexpected. He feels like the explanation sounds silly. A rich stranger helping a sick woman because his attack dog has become attached to her son? Sounds like a bad scenario, Shanita. Why? Why are you doing this? Her voice is soft, but there's a hint of disbelief in it. She's a mother, protecting her child from strange situations. Jin Yong hesitates. He can't tell the truth. He can't say that his dog chose her son, and he, following this absurd logic, decided to fix their situation, like fixing a broken machine. Jin Yon, because it's the right thing to do. The boy shouldn't be alone. You shouldn't worry about treatment. It's simple. It's this simplicity that seems to reach Shanita. She sees her son hugging a huge dog, and it licks his cheek. She sees this reserved, stern man standing there, unsure what to do with his hands. It doesn't look like some kind of cunning plan. It looks strange, but sincere. Shanita, thank you, she says again, and this time there's less wariness in her voice and more tired gratitude. I'll try to pay it back as soon as I can. Jin Yong, no need. Health is more important. They spent about an hour at Shanita's. Elvis chatted nonstop, talking about Gory, the park, and ice cream. Jin Yong barely spoke. He sat on a chair against the wall and listened. Occasionally, his gaze would meet Shanita's, and they would both quickly look away. Finally, Jin Yong looked at his watch. He had to go. Things couldn't wait. Jin Yong, it's time for Elvis, and you need a rest. Shanita, yes, of course. Elvis, listen to Mr. Jin. Elvis, Mom, can Gory stay with me? Shanita, no, honey, that's not our dog. Elvis, but she likes it here. Jin Yong stood up and whistled to Gory. The dog, lying at Elvis's feet, raised its head. Jin Yon, ni sai simna nin burn. let's go. Gorius looked at him. Then she looked at Elvis, who was looking at her with pleading eyes. Then she looked at Shanita. She slowly rose, stretched, and turned around. She circled around and lay down on the floor again, but this time not at Elvis's feet, but right between Shanita's bed and the door. She rested her head on her paws and let out a deep, determined sigh. Silence reigned in the room. Jin Yong, Gory. He said this sternly. The dog only raised an eyebrow, as if to say, I hear you. Shanita watched this, and a faint smile appeared on her lips. Shanita, looks like she voted against it. Jin Yong tried again, more forcefully. Jinyun, burn, come to me, right now. Gory closed her eyes, pointedly ignoring him. She was clearly stating, my place is here. Jin Yong ran a hand over his face. He was losing the battle of wills to his dog again. And right in front of this woman, he felt a burning frustration mixed with a kind of foolish admiration for the animal's stubbornness. Elvis, can she stay? For a little while? She'll keep us safe, he asked, and there was such hope in his voice that Jin Yong couldn't destroy it. Jin Yong glanced at Shanita. She shrugged, her smile widening a little. Shanita, if she doesn't mind, it's really boring here, and she's impressive company. Jin Yong knew he had lost. He nodded in surrender. Jin Yon, okay, she's staying, for today. He looked at the dog. Are you happy? Gory opened one eye, flicked the tip of her tail on the floor, and closed it again. Jin Yong turned to Elvis. Jin Yong, I'll pick you up tomorrow morning. Will you be ready? Elvis, yes, Mr. Jin, thank you. Jin Yong nodded goodbye to Shanita. She nodded back, still with that same thoughtful half-smile. He left the room alone, without his shadow. And for the first time in many years, he felt not the anxiety of this loss, but a strange, quiet satisfaction. His dog was where she believed she was needed. And perhaps she was right. Jin Yong drives up to Elvis's house the next morning. He's not alone. Another car pulls up behind him, and two young men in simple clothes get out. They carry out several full paper bags. Elvis is already waiting at the entrance. His eyes widen when he sees people with bags. Jin Yong, good morning. Elvis, good morning, Mr. Jin. What is it? Jin Yon, food. You need to eat real food, not just what your neighbor gives you. He makes a slight gesture with his hand, and the young people silently walk into the entrance. They know the address. Yong checked everything and delegated the task to his assistants. For him, it's a routine task. Identify the problem, product shortage, find a solution, procurement, and organize fulfillment, delivery. Just like in business, only simpler. Elvis, wow, thank you. But why so many? Jin Yong, just enough, until your mom gets back. They go up to the apartment. The helpers are already placing bags on the kitchen table. They're not taking out canned goods or prepared meals, but good, fresh produce. Meat, chicken, vegetables, fruit, milk, bread. Everything they need to cook simple, healthy meals. They've also brought a large thermos with a hot lunch ready for the day. First mate, boss, everything's set out. The milk's in the fridge. The lunch is still warm. Do you need anything else? Jin, Yong, no. Wait in the car. The people nod and leave. Elvis stands in the middle of the kitchen, looking at this abundance. He looks as if he's been given treasure. Elvis, I've never seen so much food at once. Mom always bought a little at a time. Jin Yon, no need to skimp now. As soon as this one's over, they'll bring a new one. He takes out his phone. A message from Dr. Kim appears on the screen. It reads, payment for the first stage of treatment and medications has been made. Additional physical therapy has been prescribed. The patient's condition is improving. Jin Yong shows the message to Elvis. Jin Yon, see? Everything's under control. Your mother is being cared for by the best doctors. Elvis looks at the screen, even though he doesn't understand all the words. He understands the main thing. Everything is fine. Elvis, thank you, Mr. Jin. Jin Yong, you're welcome. He looks around the apartment. He sees a neatly made bed in the corner, drawings on the wall, a few books on the shelf. Everything is clean, but sparse, and somehow temporary. A new thought occurs to him. This, too, is a problem that needs to be solved, but not now. Jin Yon, are you going to see Mom today? Elvis, yes. Aunt Martha said she'll take me home after lunch. Jin, Yon, okay. Burn with you? Elvis, yes, she's always with me. She even slept next to my bed. At that moment, Gory emerged from the narrow corridor. She yawned, stretched, and walked up to Elvis, nuzzling his hand. Then she walked up to Jin. Yeonu sat down next to him, as if saluting her master, but showing with her whole appearance that her place was here. Jin Yong places his hand on her head. He strokes her, and the dog closes her eyes. It's a rare moment of quiet connection between them in recent days. A week passes. Jin Yong stops by almost every day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. He brings not only food, but also simple cold medicine. Elvis sneezed a couple of times. A new jacket, the old one was too small, and a set of pencils and paper. Every time a black car pulls up to the entrance, Elvis runs out into the street. His face lights up. He's no longer afraid. He looks forward to these visits. One such evening, they are sitting in the kitchen. Jin Yong drinks the tea Elvis has clumsily but painstakingly brewed. Gory lies at the boy's feet. Elvis: Mr. Jin, would you like to see my drawings? Jin Yong: Drawings? Elvis: Yes, I draw every day. While Mom is in the hospital, I have a lot of time. He runs into the room and returns with his folder. It's an ordinary cardboard folder, but for Elvis, it's a treasure. He carefully opens it on the table in front of Jin. Yonom. Elvis: Look, this is our house. This is the park. And this is Gory on the first day. Jin Yong looks. The drawings are childish, but they reveal talent. The lines are confident. There's a sense of proportion. In the first drawing, Gory is truly recognizable, sitting by the bench. Next to her is a small figure of a boy. Another drawing shows a view from the window onto the hospital parking lot. The third shows his mother, smiling, in a hospital room. Jin Yon, you draw well. Elvis: Really? Thank you. Monim says I have talent. Would you like me to draw you? Jin Yong: Me? Elvis: Yes, and burn. Together. Jin Yong hesitates. He doesn't like being drawn or photographed. It's a safety issue. But now he looks in the boy's expectant face and at his dog, who gazes at him devotedly. Jin Yong: Okay, just not now. Next time. Elvis: Good. I already figured out how to draw you. He puts the folder away and sits down on the floor next to Gory. He puts his arm around her neck. Elvis: You know, Gory, she's like a big nanny. Jin Yon: Nanny? Elvis: Yes, she's always there. If I'm doing something in the kitchen, she lies down next to me and makes sure I don't fall. If I'm sleeping, she lies down by the door. If someone knocks on the door, Aunt Martha or the mailman, she gets up and comes with me, but she doesn't bark. She just guards, like a nanny bodyguard. Jin Young listens and looks at Gory. The dog, hearing his name, raises his head and looks at Elvis, wagging his tail. There's no trace of the cold wariness in his eyes that was there before. He looks satisfied, pleased with his new role. Jin Young: Yeah, it looks like that. Elvis: Did you know she could be like that? Jin Young: No, I didn't know. I thought she was just a guard dog. Elvis: She's both a guard dog and a nanny. She's a multitasker, Elvis says, proudly using the new word he heard on TV. Jin Yong can't help but smile slightly. A smile so slight it's almost unnoticeable, but Elvis sees it. Elvis: Oh, you're smiling. Jin Yong immediately makes a serious face. Jin Yong: No. Elvis: There was. I saw it. Gory, did you see it? Mr. Jin smiled. Gory, as if understanding, lets out a short, approving woof. Jin Yong clears his throat and stands up. Jin Yong: I have to go. I have things to do. I'll be there tomorrow morning. Elvis: Okay. Good night, Mr. Jin. Good night, Gory. Oh, she's staying. Jin Yon: Yes, she's staying. He leaves. As he descends the stairs, he hears Elvis cheerfully say something to the dog, and it whines softly in response. This boy's trust, so simple and complete, is like the warm light in this poor apartment. It warms something cold and long forgotten inside Jin himself, Yona. He decides that tomorrow he'll bring more than just food, maybe paints, or a real sketchbook, a small logistical task that suddenly seems very important to him. Shanita is discharged from the hospital after 10 days. She returns home weak, but with clear eyes and renewed energy. The first thing she does is call Jin Yun-woo, not through her son. She herself finds the number in Elvis's notebook, which he carefully wrote out in block letters. Shanita: Hello, this is Shanita. I want to thank you, personally. Come to dinner tonight. A simple dinner, but from the heart. Jin Young on the other end of the line remains silent longer than necessary. He's not used to such invitations. Jin Young: It's not necessary. Shanita: For me, it is. Please. And there's such a firm, calm insistence in her voice that he can't refuse. Jin Yon: Okay, I'll come in. That evening, he stands at their door with a small bouquet. Not roses, but simple, bright autumn chrysanthemums. He doesn't know what kind of gift one gives on such occasions. Gory, hearing his footsteps, joyfully scratches the door from the inside. Shanita opens the door. She's wearing a simple house dress, her hair pulled back. She looks tired, but the smile on her face is genuine. Shanita: Come in. Thank you for the flowers. They're beautiful. The apartment smells delicious and homey. Elvis helps set the table. He's beaming. Elvis: Mom made chicken and rice and pie. I helped her. Dinner is a bit tense at first. Elvis chatters incessantly. Gory lies under the table, resting his head on the legs of first one, then the other. Jin Young eats silently, but carefully, praising the food in monosyllables. Shanita watches him. When Elvis runs into the room to get his sketchbook to show off his new drawings, silence falls. Shanita pours tea. To Shanita, thank you for everything, not just for the medicine. For taking care of him, she nods toward the room. Shang, it's nothing. Shanita, for you it's nothing. For us, it's everything. I don't know how we're going to get back. Jin Young, no need to return it. Shanita looks at him. She sees how he avoids her gaze, looking into his cup. Shanita, why? Why are you doing this? Honestly. Jin Young puts down his spoon. He looks out the window at the darkening courtyard. Jin Young, I don't have a family, no children. My work, it takes up all my time. Gory was the only one who was there, and now she's chosen you. Shanita, dog sense good people. Jin Young, I don't know if I'm a good person, but she senses something in your son, something bright, and I just follow it, because I can't do otherwise. It's like a logical chain. He says it strangely, detachedly, as if analyzing someone else's situation. Shanita, family isn't just blood, Mr. Jin. Sometimes it's those who are there when you need them, those who offer a hand. Jin Young, I didn't offer my hand. Gory literally led me by the leash. Shanita smiles. Shanita, but you went. At that moment, Elvis runs out with an album, and the conversation turns to his drawings, but those few words hang in the air between them, like a quiet confession and acceptance. A few days later, Jin Young arrives during the day. It's not business, just something. He's bringing a new soccer ball for Elvis. They go out into the house's courtyard, where there's a small patch of asphalt. Gory runs around, trying to catch the ball with his nose as it rolls by. Elvis laughs, his cries of joy echoing throughout the quiet courtyard. Jin Young stands to the side, leaning against the wall. He watches, and his face lacks the usual mask. There's simply calm observation. At that moment, a familiar black car pulls into the courtyard. Two of his subordinates emerge. These aren't the young men who brought groceries. These are the elders, the ones who handle the big issues. Their faces are tense. They walk toward Jin Yun-woo, ignoring the boy with the dog, but Gory pays attention to them. The ball rolls toward the newcomers. Elvis runs after it. Gory, who had been frolicking a second ago, freezes. Her body tenses, her ears flatten. She takes 2 quick steps and stands between the running Elvis and the 2 men. A low, deep growl erupts from her chest. It's not a playful sound. It's the same growl that everyone in Jin's world knew. Yona, warning, threat. The men stop dead in their tracks. They know Gory. They fear her. They look at the dog in utter bewilderment. First, boss? What's wrong with her? Elvis stops, startled by the roar in the men's tense faces. Elvis, burn? What are you? Jin Young pushes himself away from the wall. His face instantly becomes the cold, impenetrable one they know. But inside, everything is turning upside down. His dog, his faithful guardian, is growling at his people, protecting this boy and him. Jin Young, calm down, Gory. He says this firmly. Gory pauses for a second, but doesn't back down. She stands like a rock, every muscle ready to spring. She looks at the strangers, not at her master. The second subordinate, cautious, takes a step back. The second, we need to talk, boss. Urgent matter. At the warehouse, Jin Young gets the hint. Something has come up that requires his immediate attention. It used to be his absolute priority. He looks at Gory, still defending. At Elvis, clutching the ball and staring at it with wide eyes. At the door of his apartment, where Shanita might be looking out the window, silence pass, broken only by Gory's heavy breathing. Young feels the 2 worlds he's so carefully kept separate collide right here on the dirty asphalt of the courtyard. He steps forward, but not toward his people. He approaches Gory and places his hand on her head. Jin Young, hush, it's okay, they're ours. Gory stops growling, but doesn't relax. She allows him to pet her, but her gaze remains fixed on the intruders. Jin Young looks up at his subordinates. His voice, as he addresses them, is even, but lacks the usual immediate readiness for action. No, I'm busy. First subordinate. But, boss, there's Jin Young. I said I'm busy. Figure it out yourself. Or wait, but not here. Go away. They look at him, not believing their ears. He never put off urgent matters. Never. They exchange glances, look at the dog, at the boy, at the boss's calm face. Something has changed here. Something important. Second. Got it, boss. We'll wait in the car. Outside. Jin Young. Good. They slowly retreat to their car, constantly glancing at Gory. The car starts and drives out of the yard to wait. When they disappear, Gory finally relaxes. She sighs heavily, licks her lips, and turns to Elvis, nuzzling his hand as if checking to see if everything is all right. Elvis. They're bad guys? Jin Young. No, they're just working with me. But Gory didn't recognize them. She thought they might hurt you. Elvis. She was protecting me? Jin Yon. Yes, me too. Elvis hugs Gory. Elvis, you're my heroine. But don't growl at the guys. They're your own people. Jin Young looks at them. He's just made a choice. He's put his work aside for the first time in his life. And strangely enough, the world didn't collapse. No ambulance was needed, simply because he's decided to stay here, in the yard, where the boy is learning to kick a ball, and the dog is protecting them both from the whole world, including his own. He feels not anxiety, but relief. It's as if a heavy cloak, the one he always wore without even noticing its weight, has been lifted from his shoulders. He picks up the ball and tosses it to Elvis with a light motion. Jin Yong, go ahead, show me how you can hit. And at that moment, his phone, in his pocket, vibrates again. He ignores it. Now Jin Yong comes by almost every day. At first he'd say, I need to take Gory for a walk. Then, I stopped by to check if everything's okay. And then he'd just start ringing the doorbell. Shanita opens the door. She's no longer surprised. Shanita, come in. The tea has just boiled. Jin Yong, thank you. He enters, takes off his coat, and hangs it on a chair. He does it naturally, as if it's always been this way. Gory greets him at the threshold, wagging her tail, but doesn't leave Elvis's side, who is doing his homework at his desk. Elvis, hello, Mr. Jin. Jin Yong, hi, how were your lessons? Elvis, math, I'm bored. Jin Yong sits down next to me and looks at my textbook. He points at the problem with his finger. Jin Yong, there's a mistake here. Look, he explains simply and clearly. Elvis listens and nods. Then they go into the kitchen for tea. Shanita bakes cookies. The apartment smells of comfort and tranquility. Jin Young sits on a kitchen chair and looks out the window. He doesn't say anything important. He just is. Sometimes he helps Shanita carry a heavy bag from the store, even though she says she can handle it herself. Sometimes he fixes a leaky faucet. Small, simple things. In the evening, when he leaves, Elvis asks, Elvis, will you come tomorrow? Jin Yong, yes, I will come. And he comes, for no reason, simply because this has become his place. A place he wants to return to. The weekend is coming. Jin Yong arrives in the morning. He has a small box in his hands. Elvis, what is this? Jin Yong, tools. Small, yours. He opens the box. Inside are real but lightweight hammers, screwdrivers, and pliers. Everything is safe, but real. Jin Yong, today we're learning how to hammer a nail. Elvis, oh great, why? Jin Yong, to be able to. A man must be able to. He finds an old board in the shed in the yard. They go out there. Jin Yong shows how to hold a hammer, how to aim, how to hit without hitting your fingers. Jin Yong, don't be afraid. Harder. Straight punch. Elvis concentrates. His tongue sticks out of the corner of his mouth. He strikes. The nail goes in crooked. Elvis, oops, that didn't work. Jin Yong, it's okay. You'll pull it out and try again. The main thing is to keep trying. After half an hour, Elvis manages to hammer the nail straight. He beams with pride. Elvis, Mom, look, I'll build us a house. Shanita smiles, looking out the window. Shanita, just be careful. Another time they go out of town for a picnic. Jin Young shows Elvis how to light a small fire without a lighter, just using matches, paper, and small sticks. Jin Young, a small fire at first, then add more, but carefully. Give it air. Elvis concentrates on fanning the first flames. When the fire really starts to burn, he jumps up. Elvis, it worked! Look, Gory, it worked! Gory lies nearby and watches, shielding his eyes from the sun. Then, as they eat sausages roasted over the fire, Elvis tells a funny story about his teacher. He impersonates him so hilariously that Jin, at first, Yang simply smiles, and then a quiet, genuine laugh erupts from his chest. He himself is surprised by the sound. Elvis freezes, looking at him. Elvis, you're laughing! Jin Young, yes, you're funny. Elvis, you're funny too when you laugh. You need to laugh more often. And Elvis teaches him a simple word game, and they sit by the dying fire and laugh for no reason. For no reason, just because it feels good. But Jin Yona has another life, the one he came from. And in this life, disruptions are beginning. He misses important calls. He cancels meetings at the last minute. He doesn't attend problem-solving sessions. His right-hand man, a man named Kim, comes into his office. Kim's face is serious. Kim, boss, we need to talk. Jin Yong, speak up. Kim, people are talking. They're worried. You're often absent. Decisions are slow. New players have entered the market, and they're sensing our weakness. Jin Yong, what weakness? Kim, they see that you're distracted, that you've developed other interests. Jin Yoon looks at him coldly. He knows what Kim is talking about. News travels fast in his world. Everyone already knows about the boy and the dog, who now lives not in the boss's mansion, but in a small apartment in a poor neighborhood. Jin Young, my interests are my business. I can handle business, Kim. I used to, but last Wednesday, you didn't give the order for deliveries. We lost time and money. Young, I was busy. Kim, we know what, boss, this isn't like you. It makes you vulnerable. There is silence in the office. Jin Young realizes Kim is right. He really is distracted. His thoughts are often there, with them, about how Elvis showed him an A in reading yesterday, about how Shanita was looking for a job, and he discreetly helped her get a job at a good company with flexible hours. Jin Young, I'll take care of business. Tell the people not to worry. There will be order. Kim nods, but there's still doubt in his eyes. Kim, okay, boss. I hope you're right. After his departure, Jin Young sits alone in a large office. He looks out the window at the city. Two worlds pull him in different directions, and he must find balance. But his heart has already made its choice. It remains where it is awaited, not out of fear, but with a smile. Elvis now often walks with Gory alone, from school to home. Shanita is at work. Jin Young was busy with his own affairs. But they had an agreement. Gory would always be with Elvis. The dog became his shadow, his protector. One day, as Elvis walks home through a quiet street behind the school, he is stopped. Two unfamiliar men in simple clothes appear before him. They smile, but their smiles are not kind. First stranger, hey kid, are you Elvis? Elvis stops. He grips Gory's leash tighter. Gory immediately stands in front of him. She doesn't growl. She just looks. Elvis, yeah, and who are you? Second stranger, friends of your friend Jin, Yona. He asked me to bring you to him, urgently. Elvis doesn't believe it. Mr. Jin always calls himself or comes over. He never sends strangers. Elvis, he didn't call me. First stranger, the phone's broken. Come on, don't hold me up. The car's right here. He steps forward to take Elvis's hand, and it turns out to be a mistake. Gory explodes. She doesn't bark. She lets out a short, furious sound and lunges forward. She doesn't bite, but with a powerful thrust of her chest, she knocks the man off his feet. He falls to the pavement with a cry of surprise. The second man jumps back. He tries to approach from the other side, but Gory spins with incredible speed. She stands between him and Elvis, baring her teeth. Her leverage now is the promise of pain. The real thing. The second stranger, damn dog. Elvis backs away in horror. He pulls out the phone that Jin Young gave it to him for emergencies and pokes at the only quick call button. The phone beeps. 1, 2. At this point, the first man tries to stand up. Gory makes a warning lunge, snapping his teeth a centimeter from his hand. He freezes. The phone is picked up. Jin's voice. Yona, Elvis? Elvis, trembling, shouts into the phone. Elvis, Mr. Jin! There are some uncles here who want to take me somewhere. Gory won't let them in. Jin's voice. Yona changes instantly. She becomes icy and sharp as a knife. Jin Young. Where are you? Street number. Elvis shouts out the street name. Jin Young. Stay close to Gory. Don't move. I'm on my way. The men overhear this conversation. They exchange glances. A growling dog and the call for backup. That wasn't part of their plan. They begin to slowly retreat toward their car, staring intently at Gory. First stranger. Some other time, puppy. They jump into the car and drive away with a squeal of tires. Elvis crouches down and hugs Gory. He's shaking. Elvis. Thank you, Gory. Thank you. Gory licks his face. Sunin, always. Soothing him. She doesn't growl anymore. She's just a big dog again, protecting her boy. 3 minutes later, Jin's black car bursts into the street. Yona. He jumps out of the car without even closing the door. His face is pale with anger and fear. Jin Yon runs towards Elvis, who is still sitting on the ground with Gory to Jin. Yon, are you okay? Did they touch you? Elvis. No. Gory didn't let her. She pushed them away. Jin. Yan looks at Gory. He puts his hand on her head. His voice is hoarse. Jin Yan is a good girl. A very good girl. He helps Elvis up, checks to see if he's hurt. Then he picks up the phone. Jin Yang. Let's go home. To Mom. Elvis. And these guys? Jin. Yan. I'll sort it out. They won't come again. Ever. He says it quietly, but there's such steely confidence in his voice that Elvis believes him implicitly. He puts the boy and the dog in the car, and as they drive, he keeps his hand on Gory's head, his eyes staring ahead with cold, clear determination. Someone has crossed a line, and there will be an answer for it, but not like before. Now he has something to lose, and he will protect it at any cost. One of the men, the one who fell, gets angry. He jumps up and takes a sharp step toward Elvis, ignoring the dog. Stranger, stop playing! Let's go! His hand reaches out to grab Elvis by the jacket. Gory no longer warns. She acts. Not like a trained guard dog, but like a mother protecting her puppy. She lunges not at the man's hand, but at his leg, sinking her teeth into the thick fabric of his pant leg. She doesn't tear. She squeezes with tremendous force. The man screams in pain and surprise. He tries to push the dog away, but Gory holds on in a death grip. The second man rushes to her aid, trying to hit her, and then Gory lets out a bark. It's not a normal dog bark. It's a deafening, furious roar, filled with such primal menace that it makes Elvis's ears pop. The sound echoes down the empty street. Windows open in the neighboring houses. The barking mingles with the screams of a wounded man. The second attacker freezes, startled by the noise. His plans were silent, but now all the attention of the surrounding area is focused on them. Elvis, crying in terror, backs up against the wall. He fumbles for his phone in his pocket. His fingers tremble, but he presses the button, that speed dial. The stranger, his leg bleeding, breaks free from Gory's grip. Both men now look at the dog, which, having taken a step back, continues to bark, barking loudly, its bloody teeth bared. They are no longer thinking about kidnapping. They are thinking about escape. They rush to their car. The doors slam. The car takes off. Gory stops barking. She breathes heavily, turning her head toward the fleeing car. Then she turns and runs up to Elvis. She nuzzles his tear-slicked face, whines, and licks his cheeks. Elvis puts his arms around her neck and sobs into her fur. Elvis, they're gone. They're gone. At that moment, a voice comes over the phone. Jin Young arrives faster than Elvis could have imagined. His car brakes sharply, and he jumps out, oblivious to everything around him. He sees Elvis pressed against the wall, Gory next to him. He sees the boy's frightened, tear-stained face. Jin Young runs up and kneels in front of Elvis, his hands gently touching the boy's shoulders. Jin Young, where did they touch you? Show me. Elvis, nowhere. Gory didn't let her. She bit one of the guys. He screamed, Jin! Yan turns his gaze to Gory. He sees blood on her muzzle. He strokes her head, his voice quiet and firm. Jin Yan, well done. Good girl. He lifts Elvis to his feet and places him in the car. Gory jumps in after him. His face is now an icy mask, but his eyes burn with a cold fire. This isn't anger at breaking the rules of his world. This is personal. Someone has touched his family. He takes Elvis home to Shanita. He tells her briefly, Elvis is fine, but there was an incident. I need to go. Gory will stay with you. Shanita, seeing her son's condition, turns pale, but nods, understanding that questions must be put aside. Jin Yong leaves. His movements are precise and quick. He doesn't shout. He doesn't make loud threats. He gathers his most trusted men. He gives them simple instructions. He speaks quietly, but every word falls like a stone. He knows who it could be. He has suspicions, competitors who have sensed weakness. He finds them quickly. They were mercenaries, small-timers from a Vietnamese gang who had been promised big money to teach their boss a lesson by hitting his new weakness. Jin Yong arrives in person. He enters the room where the captured mercenaries are being held. He doesn't raise his voice. He looks at them, and his gaze is so icy with fury that they begin to tremble. Jin Yong, you raised your hand against a child. First mercenary. We were paid. We just had to scare him. Jin Yong, did my dog scare you enough? He pauses. Then he speaks very clearly. Jin Yong, if any of you, your acquaintances, your distant relatives, even look in the direction of the area where this boy and his mother live, you will disappear, not from the city, from life, and those who hired you will find out what a real problem is. Understand? His words require no response. He turns and leaves. Measures will be taken, not like before. Tougher, more final. Word will spread quickly. No one will look in that direction again. The fear of him, which had waned somewhat, will return threefold. But now, it's not just fear of a boss. It's fear of a protector who has something to lose. And such people are the most dangerous. Jin Yong returns to their house late at night. He stands at the door, hesitant to knock, but the door opens on its own. Shanita is standing there. She's awake. Shanita, come in. He enters. The apartment is quiet. Elvis, exhausted from tears and stress, is asleep in his room. Gory is lying by his bed, but hearing Jin Yona comes out and sits down next to him. Shanita, he told me about the dog, about these people. Jin Yong, I figured it out. It won't happen again. Shanita, I know. She looks at him. Her gaze is serious and direct. I know you're more than just a businessman, Jin. Yong, your affairs. They are of a different kind. He's silent. He can't deny it. Not after today. Not after the way his world burst into their lives with such force. Shanita, I don't need to know the details, but I do need to know one thing. This danger, is it part of our lives now? Because of you? Jin Yong looks at the floor. Then he looks up at her. There's no familiar steel in them, only weariness and sincerity. Jin Yong, before, yes, my life was a danger for everyone around me. But now, he pauses, choosing his words. Now I want that danger to stay out there, outside. And here, with you, I want to be different. Just a person who needs you. All three of you. He says it quietly, almost inaudibly, but Shanita hears. She sees him looking at Elvis's door, and Gory laying her head on his lap. Shanita, then stay. Stay here today. Don't go alone. Jin yawn. I don't want to embarrass you. Shanita, you're embarrassing us. You're our family. Complicated, strange, but family. And family doesn't leave each other on nights like these. He nods. He stays. He sleeps on the couch in the living room. Gory settles down on the floor next to him. At night, he hears Elvis cry out in his sleep, and Shanita quietly soothing him. He lies with his eyes open and listens to the sounds of this house, the sounds of a life he must now protect, not as property, but as his most precious possession. He has accepted it, and in this acceptance, he has found a new peace. Now Yona has a new schedule. He still gets up early, but instead of driving to his dark windowed office, he often has breakfast in his small apartment. Then he drives Elvis to school. His affairs change. He summons Kim, his right-hand man. Kim, boss, you wanted to see me. Jin Yon, sit down. I have a favor to ask of you. A big one. Kim sits down, wary. Jin Yong, I want to move away from old things, from everything that could cause problems. I want you to take on more responsibility, more decisions. Kim looks at him, disbelieving. Kim, you're leaving? Jin Yong, no, but I want to focus on something else. On legitimate business, on investments. Can you handle it? Kim is silent, considering. Then he nods slowly. Kim, yes, I can handle it. But people, they've gotten used to you. To your decisions. Jin Yan, they'll get used to you. You're strong. You're fair. And I'll be there. But in the background. Later, he discusses this with Shanita. They are drinking evening tea in the kitchen. Shanita, are you sure this is right? To leave what you've been building for years? Jin Yon, I built this to be strong, to be feared. But now I need to be strong in a different way. For you, fear is a bad foundation for a family. Shanita, what do you want to do? Jin Yong, there are a few options. Cargo transportation, a small processing plant, something boring but honest. What do you think? Shanita looks at him in surprise. He asks her advice. He asks sincerely, Shanita, I don't understand business, but I know that honest sleep is the soundest. Jin Yon, yes, I like the way you said it. He begins to study documents, markets, and figures. It's difficult, but different. Here, his decisions impact people's salaries, not their fears. It's a new feeling. He likes it. Shanita sits with sketches on the kitchen table. She's been drawing for several weeks. The evening design course she's long wanted to take is now a reality. Elvis looks over her shoulder. Elvis, Mom, this is so beautiful. Will you sew it? Shanita, I hope so, if I can find a space for a small studio. And clients. Jin Yong comes in from the street. He sees the sketches. Jin Yong, are these your works? Shanita, yes. I dream of having my own studio, but for now, it's just a dream. Jin Yong, why a dream? These are good drawings. You have a vision. The next day he comes and says, Jin Yon, get ready. Let's go look at a place. He takes her to a small, bright space in a quiet neighborhood. Large windows, clean walls. Shanita, what is this? Jin Yong, a room for a studio. If you like. Shanita, Jin Yong, this is too much. I can't. Jin Yong, you can. Consider it an investment. In your talent. I believe in it. They stand in the middle of the empty room. Shanita is silent, then nods. Tears well up in her eyes, but she smiles. Shanita, okay, I'll do it. The chores begin. Repairs, buying equipment. Elvis wants to help. He comes after school with a notebook. Elvis, Mom, I came up with a logo for your studio. He shows a drawing. It's a stylized, friendly face of Gory, with a playful turn of the head. The caption, Shanita's studio. Shanita laughs. Shanita, that's perfect. Gory is our mascot. Jin Yong looks at the drawing, and the dog sleeping in the corner on a new bed. Jin Yong, yes, the most faithful talisman. The studio opens a month later. The first orders come from Jin's friends, Yona, but soon real clients arrive. Shanita works from morning until night, but she's happy. This is her dream. And Gory, whose image now adorns the sign, lies at the entrance, greeting guests. At school, Elvis has an assignment. Talk about his family. He prepares with great enthusiasm. The next day, the teacher, Mrs. Ellen, calls Shanita. Mrs. Ellen, Mrs. Shanita, this is Mrs. Ellen, Elvis's teacher. I'd like to talk to you. Shanita, of course, what happened? Was he being bad? Mrs. Ellen, oh no, quite the opposite. He gave a wonderful report. But he said something interesting about your family. Shanita freezes. Mrs. Ellen, he told me about his friend, Mr. Jin, And about your dog, Gory, in great detail. The children listened, their mouths open, but some details, they struck me as unusual. He mentioned that Mr. Jin used to be a very strict boss, and now he helps you with your business. And that he's had serious conversations with bad people who wanted to hurt you. We at school just want to make sure Elvis is okay, that this is a safe situation. Shanita closes her eyes. Then she takes a deep breath. She chooses her words. Shanita, Mrs. Ellen, Ellen, thank you for your concern. Everything is fine. Mr. Jin is a close friend of ours. He really helps us. He is from a different culture. Sometimes his work seems unusual, but he is a very kind person. And yes, we had an unpleasant situation on the street, but it is resolved. Elvis is just very vivid in his descriptions. He is an artist, Mrs. Ellen. I understand. It's just that we have to check these things. I'm glad to hear everything is okay. His report was really very touching. He said that now he has 3 whole parents, his mother, Mr. Jin, and his dog, Gory. After the call, Shanita tells Jin about it, Yeonwoo. He frowns at first, then can't help but smile. Jin Yeon, 3 parents? One of whom is a dog? Shanita, yes, you're officially part of the family now. Even the school knows. Jin, Young, what are we going to do now? Shanita, nothing. We'll continue as we always have. We just know now. Our son can't keep a secret. Jin, Yun, it's no secret. This is our life. Let them know. Elvis comes home from school in the evening. Elvis, Mom, Mrs. Ellen said my story was the most interesting. Shanita, yes, honey, she called me. You told it all correctly. But next time, maybe we shouldn't mention Mr. Jin's serious conversations. Elvis, oh, why not? They happened. Jinwan, because at school they love stories about dogs and ice cream, but not so much about conversations. Elvis, got it. I'll tell you about Gory and ice cream. They laugh. The awkward moment is over. Their strange, wonderful family has become a little more real, even for the school teacher. One evening, when Elvis had fallen asleep after school, and Gory was nestled next to his bed, Jin Yong approached Shanita, who was sewing in the kitchen. Jin Yeon, are you free tomorrow night? Shanita's putting off work. Shanita, yes, I think so. Why? Jin, Yong, I want to invite you to a restaurant, just the 2 of us. Shanita looks at him, surprised. In all this time, they haven't had a single evening just to themselves. Shanita, and Elvis, Gory, Jin Yeon, that neighbor, Aunt Martha, will babysit Elvis. She's already agreed, and Gory will stay with him. She won't leave him. Shanita, that sounds like a real date. Jin Yong, because that's what it is. The next day, Jin Yong arrives to pick up Shanita. He's wearing a dark suit, but without his usual formality. Shanita is wearing a simple, elegant dress she sewed herself. They exit, and Aunt Marta, sitting in a chair knitting, smiles warmly at them. The restaurant isn't the most pompous, but it's cozy. It's quiet, dimly lit, and there are candles on the tables. At first, both are silent, unaccustomed to this setting. The waiter brings the menu. Jin Yong studies it with a serious expression, as if it were an important document. Shanita, you look like you're about to sign a contract. Jin Yong looks up and smiles. Easy. Genuine. Jinyon, I just want to choose the right one. Shanita, I trust your choice. They order. The conversation is cautious at first, about the studio, about Elvis's school, about Gory. Then the pauses become shorter. The words flow more easily. Jin Yong, I was thinking about the future. Shanita, what future? Jin, Yong, about ours, all of us. I like it the way it is now, but I want it to be more reliable, more durable. Shanita, we have an apartment. We have a studio. We are healthy. Elvis is happy. That's already a lot. Jin, Yong, yes, but I want to give more, and not just material things. I want to be a real part of this, not a guest who comes and goes. Shanita puts down her fork. She looks at him in the candlelight. Shanita, you're already a part of it, Jin. Yong, since the day your dog lay at my son's feet, we're already family. We just don't have a piece of paper or a common address. Jin Yon, what if there had been? Shanita, if there had been, it wouldn't have changed anything inside, but outside, maybe it would have been easier. For everyone. For the school, for the neighbors, for life. He nods. They talk about much more. About their youthful dreams, about their fears, about what they hope Elvis's future will be like. For the first time, they speak not as people brought together by chance, but as partners building a life together. When he walks her home, she stops at the entrance. Shanita, thank you for the evening. It was very good. Jin, Yan, yes, it was. He leans down and gently kisses her cheek. Simple, warm. Then he steps away. Jin Yeon, good night. Shanita, good night. Several days pass. Jin Yong arrives at their place in the evening. He's not holding bags of groceries or toys. He's holding a simple envelope. Elvis is doing his homework. Gory is lying under the table. Shanita is cooking dinner. Jin Yeon, can we talk? Just the two of us? Shanita wipes her hands and sits down at the table. Elvis looks at them curiously, but Jin Young says, Jin-Young, Elvis, this is an adult conversation. 5 minutes. Elvis. Okay, I'll go play with Gory in the room. They're leaving. Jin. Young places the envelope on the table. He doesn't open it right away. Jin Young. I've been thinking a lot since our conversation about the future. A reliable one, Shanita. And? Jin? Young. I have a house. It's big, empty, and very quiet. It looks like a museum or a fortress. There's no life in it. He opens the envelope and spills a bunch of keys onto the table. One large, old-fashioned one for the front door. Several smaller ones. Jin Yan. There's a big fenced-in yard here. Gory can run around there. We could put a swing there. There's a room with windows facing east. It could be a studio. There's a smaller room next to ours, the master bedroom. It's perfect for a boy. We could paint it any color we like. It has good light for drawing. Shanita looks at the keys, then at him. She says nothing. Jin Young. I'm not asking for an answer now, and this isn't a formal proposal. It's just an invitation, if you want, all three of you, to live with me, in the same house, as a family. He says this very simply, without any pathos. It's as if he's suggesting they move to a more convenient area. Shanita, you're home. Your people are everywhere there. Guards, drivers. Jin Young. No, I let them go. All that's left is this gardener, who comes once a week, and the cleaning lady. The house is empty now. It waits to be filled with life, with laughter, with noise, with dogs barking, with children screaming. He takes the biggest key and places it in front of Shanita. Jin Yan, let's go have a look. Tomorrow, just have a look. Not promising anything. Shanita slowly takes the key. It's cold and heavy in her hand. Shanita, what will happen to this apartment? Jin Yong, she'll stay yours. Just in case. If something goes wrong, but I hope not. Shanita looks at the key. Then she looks up at him. There's no fear in her eyes. There's thoughtfulness and deep seriousness. Shanita, okay, we'll see tomorrow. At that moment, the door to the room opens slightly, and Elvis's nose appears in the crack. Elvis, can we go out now? Gory and I heard everything. Jin, Yan, come out. Elvis jumps out, followed by Gory. Elvis, we're moving? To a big house? With a yard? Jin Yan, maybe. We'll see first. Elvis, hooray! Gory, do you hear me? We're going to have a yard. Gory, as if understanding, wags her tail and approaches the table. She sniffs the keys, then sits down and looks at Shanita, as if waiting for her decision. Shanita looks at her son, at the dog, at the key in her hand, and at the silent man across from her. She smiles, first a little, then more and more. Shanita, yes, we'll go see it tomorrow. The key lies on the table between them. It's no longer just a piece of metal. It's become a bridge between two worlds, and all four of them look at it, feeling their future quietly reshaping itself, becoming a shared one. They were moving in a month, not right away. They came to look a few times at first. Elvis ran through the empty rooms, his voice booming under the high ceilings. He chose a room right away. Not the largest, but the one with 2 windows overlooking the garden. Elvis, my desk will be here, by the window, and I'll hang my drawings here. And Gory will sleep here, on the carpet. Gory, as if agreeing, walked around the room and lay down exactly where Elvis pointed with his finger. Shanita stood for a long time in the bright, spacious, well-lit room. Shanita, you could really set up a studio here. Better than that room. Was Young, then take it. This is your workplace. On moving day, a car arrived with their few belongings, a few boxes of clothes, dishes, books, and Elvis drawings, and a large, soft bed for Gory. When the boxes were brought in, and the car drove away, the 4 of them were left in the middle of an almost empty, but no longer so lifeless house. Elvis was the first to break down. He swung open the heavy door leading to the garden. Elvis! Gory, look! The yard! He ran out onto the grass. Gory, who never ran just for fun, paused for a second on the threshold. She looked at Jin, Yona, as if asking permission. He nodded, and then Gory took off. She raced after Elvis across the soft grass, barking with delight. She ran in circles, leaped over low bushes, rolled on her back. She was just a dog, a happy dog in her yard. Jin Yong and Shanita stood on the terrace and looked at them. Jin Yong was silent. He watched as his house, which had always been quiet, cold and empty, filled with sounds. Children's laughter, dogs barking, the crunch of grass underfoot. Shanita, she's so happy. Jin Yong, yes, I've never seen her like this. Shanita, because she has a home now. A real one. That evening, they ate pizza sitting on the living room floor because the furniture wasn't supposed to arrive until the next day, but they were fine. Elvis fell asleep leaning against Gory, right on his new carpet in his new room. Jin Yong helped Shanita unpack the box containing her sketches. Then they went out into the garden. It was quiet. Elvis's even breathing could be heard through the open window of his room. Jin Yong, thank you for agreeing. Shanita, thank you for inviting me. He put his arm around her shoulders. She pressed herself against him. They stood there, looking at their house, the windows of which now glowed with a warm yellow light. Mornings don't begin with a ringing phone or silence. They begin with the smell of coffee and fried bacon. Shanita stands in the kitchen. She moves confidently, though she's still not quite comfortable with the new kitchen. Breakfast sizzles in the frying pan. A bark comes from deep within the house, quiet, playful. It's Gory waking Elvis. Then laughter, and the patter of feet on the stairs. Elvis runs into the kitchen. He's already dressed in his school uniform, but his tie is crooked. Elvis, Mom, I can do it myself. Good morning, Shanita. Good morning, sunshine. Straighten your tie. Elvis, it's not working. Jin appears in the doorway. Young, he's already dressed, but without a jacket. He's holding a newspaper. He looks rested. Young, good morning. Shanita, good morning. Sit down, we'll serve you right away. Jin, Yan, help, Shanita. Spill the juice. He places 3 glasses on the table. Gory enters the kitchen and settles into her place on the soft rug by the door. She holds her battered rubber teddy bear in her teeth. Everyone sits down at the table. Simple breakfast, simple conversations. Elvis, today we have a math test. Jin, Yang, are you ready? Elvis, yes, we went over this yesterday. Shanita, don't worry, everything will work out. Jin Yang looks at them, at Shanita, who is pouring him coffee, at Elvis, who is carefully cutting a pancake, at Gory, who is peacefully chewing on her toy at his feet. A warm, calming feeling spreads through his chest. It's so simple and powerful that it takes his breath away for a moment. He thinks of that morning in the park, of the cold air, the empty alley, the boy on the bench, and the dog that suddenly changed everything. This chance meeting became the best event in his life. It brought him here, to this table, to this family. Elvis jumps up. Elvis, I have to go. The bus is coming soon. Shanita, did you pack your backpack? Elvis, yes. Jin Yong stands up. He approaches Elvis and straightens his crooked tie. His fingers, accustomed to other tasks, carefully tie the knot. Jin Yong, that's it? Better? Elvis, thank you. The boy grabs the backpack, kisses his mother, and pats Gory on the side. Elvis, bye everyone. Gory guard. Gory stands up, wagging his tail as he follows him to the door. Jin Yong puts his hand on Elvis's shoulder. Jin Yong, go. Good luck on the test. We'll go for a walk with Gory tonight. Elvis, definitely. Promise. Jin, Yang, I promise. Elvis runs out the door. They hear him running down the path to the gate. The house falls silent, but it's a good silence, the silence of a busy house. Shanita begins clearing the table. Gory returns to her rug. Jin Yang looks out the window at the awakening garden. It's simple. Everything is in its place. His place is here now. And this is the end of one story and the beginning of another, the real one.